Travelling during wartime was an uncertain business, as Poppy had found out. The porter had told her she could take something called the Tube, but the idea of navigating London on an underground train system had seemed too bewildering by half. So bus it was. Except the bus the porter had told her to get had suddenly lurched off the road to avoid a bomb crater and been detoured on a whole new route, past houses that looked to Poppy like grand white wedding cakes and imposing red brick buildings that soared to the heavens. Not that Poppy had the faintest idea where she was in any case. She had never been to the City of London before, and her heart had thumped in her chest at the overwhelming sights. There was noise, chaos, and traffic of all kinds belching out acrid fumes. An eerie greenish fog hung ominously over the city, meaning taxis, trams, and utility buses with blacked-out windows loomed out of the smog without warning. The roads were pockmarked with bomb damage. Sandbags were bundled up at the end of each street, and every now and then a smart terrace of houses would fall away to nothing but debris. This was a whole new world to Poppy. The Blitz had been over for a year now, but the damage was still visible everywhere. As the bus passed a bomb site, a cold, hard fist tightened around Poppy's heart. The uncomfortable thought hit her that every sealed-off site had been someone's private hell. London was awash with brick tombs. In fact, from what she was able to tell, vast swathes of the city had been reduced to rubble. Roped-off roads contained nothing but rain-sodden masonry, the odd twisted skeleton of what might have been a bus embedded within it. Street urchins picked their way through the bomb sites, pulling out anything they could salvage to sell. It was a hopeless sight, nothing like the smart images of London Poppy had seen in magazines. It was all too much, and the high emotion of the past few weeks engulfed her. Tears pricked her eyes, and then spilt helplessly down her creamy cheeks as she clutched her bag so tightly her knuckles turned white. Packed in her case, she had only some cotton stays, a vest, 2 pairs of knickers, and 3 pairs of lisle stockings. Not much to show for 16 years. Until recently, she had been safe and cosseted below stairs in a stately home. Back at Framshalton Hall, her days had been filled with hard work. From 6 a.m., when she awoke to blacklead the grate, scrub the passage, and light the range fire, her 15-hour day had been broken down into a multitude of back-breaking tasks until she finally finished at 9 p.m. But she had done this with never-ending good cheer. Even marching to the tune of a grumpy cook hadn't dented her ferocious pride in her work. For Poppy's whole sense of worth was rooted in her work ethic. At the age of 14, Poppy had left school on a Friday and, as arranged by her mother, started work as a scullery maid on the Monday. From that day forth, she had scarcely drawn breath. When she had once made the mistake of sitting down in the servants' hall to rub her feet at the end of service, Cook had swiftly rebuked her. "If it don't ache, it don't work, madam," she'd admonished. After that, Poppy had never dared to show so much as a flicker of fatigue under her superior's exacting gaze. Fortunately, as the months had rolled out, she had found the harder she worked, the more her confidence in her own ability had grown, until the sight of a sparkling scullery made her heart sing. But life below stairs had also shielded Poppy from the harsh realities of what had been brewing in the dark skies above. In the sleepy hamlet of Little Framshalton, she had barely even been aware there was a war on. Outside events didn't permeate the intense order of a country house kitchen. She would no more talk to Cook about Hitler than she would dare to sneak onto the family side of the house, or take Tommy the frisky hall boy up on his offer to meet behind the woodshed. Of course she'd heard Cook muttering about bloody rations, but when it came to world affairs, she was as naive as they came. There was order, security, and protection in the hierarchy of the upstairs-downstairs world. The biggest crisis to hit the kitchens of Framshalton Hall was when Lord Framshalton had found a piece of eggshell in his beef consommé. But then one